Good Monday morning. Hope all you mothers had a great Mother's Day, including the mother behind the camera there, the grandmother. Eugene business meeting's coming up tomorrow. I said that last week, but I was wrong last week. I was a week ahead of myself. It really is tomorrow, though. 8:30 is breakfast, 9 o'clock meeting at the Country Club. Rhonda from WVMLS is coming down to give a presentation that she gave at the North offices, which was wonderful, on social media and how it integrates with advertising rules, yada, yada. So it's very good. Again, that's tomorrow from 9 to 10 at the Eugene Country Club. There is an hour of continuing education credit, required continuing education credit, so make sure you're there for that. Should be a great meeting. We're implementing, in fact, you'll get some funny text probably in the next 48 hours that says Kevin Simron's sending you a text or something like that. We're implementing a texting system office-wide throughout our companies, and the reason we are implementing that is to, if we have an important message that we want to make sure everybody gets, we're going to be, in addition to emailing it, texting it. We know a lot of folks use text a lot more rapidly than they do email anymore. In fact, some people even consider email old-fashioned, which I just find appalling, but whatever. We're keeping up with the times. So I'll tell you what, the deal on that texting is we're not going to overuse it. You're not going to get texts from us once a week or anything like that. Probably you're going to get texts from us 4 or 5 times a year. We have, on the off chance that the phone system was down or email or we couldn't communicate with people rapidly, we would use that text system just to have kind of in our back pocket. So when you get that email, just ignore it. It's just going to say that we're going to be texting you stuff, and just delete it and wait for the magic text coming up. In the North offices, we're having our pizza party this Wednesday night at Pizza King, as every year. So in Albany at the Pizza King, it starts at 6 o'clock, and that's open for all of our agents in the North offices. Eugene's is coming up a little later this summer. And, of course, your family is invited. We'd love to see kids and grandkids or whoever there. So that's always fun. And, again, that's Wednesday night. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there at Pizza King. Oh, an interesting stat that I heard last week. According to NAR, in March, so in March's closings, according to NAR, 35% of all the closings that happened in March nationwide were cash purchases. That's the highest percentage of cash purchases that they've seen since they've started keeping records, which was, I don't know when, a long time ago. It just shows that you've got a lot of investors coming into the market as the market's starting to bottom out or maybe even rebound in some price ranges and areas. So a lot of investors are coming in buying those properties for cash. So the reason I bring that up is don't overlook that investor market right now. Obviously, we're focused on some first-time home buyers because there's a lot of good properties out there. People can actually, in many cases, buy cheaper than rent, which hasn't been true in a couple decades, but it is true now in a lot of areas. But don't forget those investors also. They're out there and they're spending money. One thing that came up a couple times in the last couple weeks, this is true of RMLS, and I couldn't get an answer yet this morning on WVMLS, but I think Jerry will check on this and get back to you. If you take over somebody else's listing, they had a property listed previously, those photos that they've taken, they're copyrighted by RMLS, but the RMLS agreement says that the new agent won't use those photos. In other words, if I have a listing and I take some photos and virtual tours and I post them to my listing, and that listing expires or I terminate it or it cancels or whatever the deal is, and somebody else goes to list that, they technically can't use my photos. Certainly as an agent, if you have an expired listing, you can consent to another agent using those photos, because if nobody files a complaint, nobody's going to know or care. But that's something to keep in mind. If you're taking over expired listings, you should not be using those photos and virtual tours unless you check with that agent that the listing expired. And that leads me to my business tip this week. If you've got a listing that's been sitting around and it's not going to sell and it's coming up on expiration, rather than letting that thing expire and you getting nothing, you're not getting reimbursed for any of your costs or anything, team up with another agent, sometimes even in our own office, and if not in our office, somebody that you know, a colleague at another office, to refer that listing to them. In other words, say, you know what, this listing's not selling. I don't know if it's chemistry with my seller, but it's time, it needs a change. How about if I refer it to you, Joe, at ABC Realty? I'd like a 25% referral fee, but what I'll do is, instead of waiting for that listing to expire and every realtor in the world calling them to get the listing, I'll actually set up an appointment, go with you maybe if that's appropriate, and say, I think we just need a different direction, and Joe over here can help you out. I think that's a classy move on your part to even potentially retain that client in the future, as funny as that sounds. But we all know we've had those listings where the sellers just said, I just need somebody different. It's just time for a change. So help them out with that change. Get a referral fee. And also that works the other way. You could be talking to agents in other offices. And again, even our own office, about, hey, if you've got listings that expire, refer them to me. I'm happy to pay you a referral fee. For birthdays this week, just one. Chris Francis up in Corvallis is having a birthday on Wednesday. Anniversaries with our company. Teresa, who is an awesome processor at Precision Funding. Teresa's been with us 6 years this week. Brian Weinhold, an agent in Albany, 3 years. And Tim Verkler, right here in Eugene, 9 years. It is so great when I can sit and list the number of years people have been with our company. It's people that make our company work, and I really appreciate that. Talking point of the week. Make your mistakes of yesterday your lessons for today. Boy, you'd think I could remember that. Make your mistakes of yesterday your lessons for today. I'll see everybody in Eugene at the meeting tomorrow, and Pizza King for the folks up north on Wednesday. Have a great week.